Manifestation.
A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
Manifestation. Man up. Manifestation. Man up. Manifestation. Man up.
A place where we inform.
Manifestation.
A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
You gotta eat what you kill. You gotta go out there, you gotta hunt for your meals.
We all have that ability to connect with people, to be that motivational person in somebody's life.
You gotta let people know there's certain lines you don't cross and that there's gonna be consequences if you do.
Man up.
If you are an adult and you are in a relationship, that person's emotions are not your responsibility.
Man up. Manifestation. Man up. Manifestation. Man up. Manifestation.
A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
The devil, during slavery, destroyed the masculinity or manhood of the so-called Negro. No man. No man. Right now you got to be trained all over again to be a man.
When someone is obligated to do something, it is binding upon them to do it. And failure to do it causes reaction.
Man up.
Position make you rich. I don't have that type of richness. My richness is life forever.
If that people knew that glorious path, if that people knew that glorious path, if that people knew that glorious path, then they would be more inclined to respect themselves.
I'm not saying I'm going to rule the world or I'm going to change the world, but I guarantee that I will spark the brain that will change the world. And that's our job, is to spark somebody else watching us.
A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
Manifestation. Man up. Manifestation. Man up. Manifestation. Man up.
A place where we inform.
Manifestation.
A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
You want to tell me about yourself? Go get your friends. I'll tell you who you are based on who your friends are.
Don't just live and die. That's an ugly existence. Make your life matter, make your life count. Live a life where people can actually mourn you for the things you left behind, not just because you were around and existed.
We need strong black nuclear family.
Yes.
That's what it is. Mother, father, son, daughter, all in the same house with a focus on the family unit as a whole.
We had Tulsa, Atlanta, New Jersey, Detroit. We had Rosewood. We had Black Wall Streets all over.
The Republicans aren't for us, but the Democrats aren't for us either. And we should have no alliance to any political party. We only have alliance to what is in our own best interest.
A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
Manifestation. Man up. Manifestation. Man up. Manifestation. Man up.
A place where we inform.
Manifestation.
A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
At the end of the day, as men in the community, we must stand together and be counted, because people look to us for guidance, leadership, and protection. And if we are not about that business, we are not on our job. Here we have grown-ass man conversations in the spirit of that purpose. Anthony Malcolm, Bobby Drake, Major Gage. We are. This is Manifestations 2020.
Manifestation. Man up. Manifestation.
A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
All right. Yeah. Welcome to another week of Manifestations 2020.
Stop.
Here with my fellas. Sorry about the communication. We had technical difficulties, as you can see. My screen was causing some kind of delay reaction, and it also chopped up the video in the beginning. Did you all see a chopped up video, or was it playing straight?
It was playing straight for me.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
And
You just
then
froze up
again,
a couple
I
times.
was jamming, so it's possible that it was doing that. I didn't notice. I was
There's
just
that. There's
I
always
was in my
that.
vibe. So
Oh, okay. I had to move from the living room because I was in my living room. You know, my house is pretty. It's a nice size house, so I guess it's dead zones in certain areas of the house. So I had to move from my living room to come into the office. So I had to run with the thing before the stuff had switched off. You know what I'm saying? So we got everything straight now. Everything is good, right? We good.
Yeah, we good, man. I saw your little low key flex there. I know you got a big ass house. You know what I'm saying? I ain't mad at you though. I ain't mad at you.
You know.
my man said he had to move from the outside basketball court to the inside basketball court.
There you go.
Okay, Ray J. Inside
We
pool,
blessed and highly favored. I'll just say that.
That's what it is.
Favorite, man. I thank God every day that we are out here doing what we need to do. I thank God for my peoples. You know what I'm saying? It's just been a blessing, man. Since I've been here, I love it here, and it's just amazing. And that's all I can say. It's a lot of things that I want to do. I want to build a lot of communication and information when it comes to politics. And there's other platforms that we will establish. But yeah, for now, man, I'm so blessed with what's going on. And I'm just happy that Manifestations is going to be growing to another level. And I have a new space and new environment to help that grow like that. So, you know, the excitement is here, man. I love it. So I was just doing one of them Usain Bolt's run from the living room to the office to make sure the transition was smooth and didn't interrupt tonight's broadcast. So for everybody that's tuning in, thank you for tuning in. James, we see you. Appreciate you. ATL checking in. Home of Rock and Roll Hall of Famers, Outkast. Man, shout out to Outkast, man. Shout out to Outkast.
And big ups to James, too. James a real solid, real thorough brother, man.
James is ultra thorough, man. Ultra thorough.
Nice.
We've been clicked up for a little bit, man. He's been consistent for as long as I've known him. Shout out to the brother, man. ATL is definitely blessed for his presence there. Whatever.
Nice. That's what's up. So we appreciate everybody checking in from all over. You know, we have tonight's broadcast was a very I wanted to go, you know, following up from what we had Mila Renee last week. I wanted to follow up with something that was very meaningful behind what she was doing.
Yeah.
And I felt like, you know, what better way of trials and tribulations of living as a Black man, right? I felt like this week we want to break down a little bit more and talk to the fellas and give them good, positive game after following up a woman that gave us her divine femininity, her time, and really flourished the room with how, you know, women should be operating. And in that presence and motion, it also uplifted the spirits of a lot of brothers to feel like, yo, there's other sisters like Mila Renee that's out here doing what they're doing. We just don't recognize them, or we don't bump into them. You know what I'm saying? So this week I felt like, you know, let's get dialed down more into the fellas of the do's and don'ts and what to look forward to, you know what I'm saying? And the living, the everyday encounters of what we deal with in situations and how to deal with it. So, you know, tonight's going to be a very, very special night. It's going to be detailed, so expect a full length show because I got a lot of videos to break down that along with tonight's topic. All right. So this is not going to be your traditional broadcast. This is really, it's fellas to fellas, chest to chest type of show tonight. All right.
It is. Let's get it.
All right. Before we kick off into that, man, fellas, what's up, man? You know, I like to holler at y'all boys and see how your week was going, how y'all doing. As you know, we got to check in on each other. I am my brother's keeper.
Yes, sir. I'm good, man. I can't complain. Everything blessed. You know what I'm saying? Business is good. I mean, hey, I have no complaints, man. You know, the family's good. I mean, hey, when your business is good, your family is good, and you grounded, you know, and you just living in your joy.
Yeah.
Hey, that's me right now. So yeah, I'm good, man. I'm blessed to be here. I feel great today, man.
Nice. That's what's up.
Man, them Gage said, it's for I'm not even gonna say unfortunately, because I'm not gonna apologize for it, but nowadays when people reach out and check up on me and they're like, hey Bob, how you doing? How's everything going? Or what's life like over there with you? It might sound boring because for the most part I got the same answer, and it's I'm doing great, I'm doing better than I ever been.
Mm-hmm.
And the outlook, the prognosis is getting better. And I know some people say that they just say that because they don't want to have to worry about them. They just want to kind of get them off their back.
Mm-hmm.
But by the grace of God, man, I mean that. I really mean that. Last year was good. This year's better, and it's looking better. It's a lot of opportunities opening up, new things and possibilities that I'm seeing. I'm moving towards, man.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm tremendously confident so far because I'm taking the steps, I'm doing the due diligence. The end of the year is not going to meet me where the beginning of the year met me, man, for the better. And what I'm also really grateful about, not just for myself, is that unfortunately some people that I'm cool with, I'm close with, they've been having their own little setbacks, some major, some minor. And because I'm doing so well over here, I'm able to kind of lend strength to them and kind of be that support for them. So I'm grateful that my blessings aren't just for me, but I'm also able to use my spirit, my resources, what I got to also kind of lend strength to them too. So I'm able to be a rock for others. And that for me is bigger than anything I'm personally getting, because it's good to make it to the top, but you don't just want to be lonely up there by yourself. You want other people that you love up there with you. So if I can help lend a hand down to help pull somebody to where I'm at, man, I'm always gonna look for that opportunity. So I'm just blessed that I'm able to bless and be a support for other people. I'm glad that I got it like that. So let's keep it going, and I'm excited, man. Every time you ask me, it's probably the smiles gonna get wider, man. I'm ready. We here. Let's do it, man.
It is.
Definitely. So before we get into our thing, I saw James. He said he does cars and lawn, so you know how I'm living right now. James, I'm gonna send a link in the chat if you want to jump in with us right now and explain some of that. I'm gonna give you the opportunity to do that because that's very interesting. I want to ask you some questions about that. Where's the link that I have? Okay. So in the meantime, I do want to show you guys this video, and the reason why I asked you guys how you guys are doing. I think a lot of people don't realize what the trials and tribulations of what men go through. So let me play this video real quick.
Men are more likely to fight their way from depression to anger because depression is not a good look on a brother. And so while people will accept us as women kind of laying back and, oh, it's me, and they think there's something feminine about that, and it's not, it's still depression. But our cultural perspectives don't accept that from men. And the only energy he can use to defend himself against your attacks on his masculinity is to fight his way out of depression into a fury. And here we are, with our men dropping like flies, with life expectancies at the bottom levels in this country. Because anger is literally shredding their bodies and their immune systems and their productivity, which is also so related to how many men define themselves. So if anger's snatching both their productivity and their physical strength, gosh, we got to do something. Men are more likely to fight their way from depression.
So yeah, I wanted to basically, show that video because I think that's a elephant in the room that a lot of people don't talk about. And also she touched on kind of the points of how easy it is for men to funnel themselves not only into depression, but also into the suicide state of mind, which we all know men are 3 times more likely to commit suicide than any other person on this planet. So with that being said, you guys wanted to break down anything that you saw in that video and add to that?
That sister was spitting, and that was really, really powerful. I really appreciate what that sister said and the fact that it's coming from a sister, because a lot of times, the reason why men are ashamed or feel ashamed to emote or to express how they feel is because, yeah, they don't want to look bad in front of their boys, but more so in front of women. It's really, really, really something that takes a lot away from you when you feel like you're getting punked in front of a woman, especially a woman that you care about or a woman that you want to respect you, because the idea is that, wow, you know, how's she going to look at me now? You know, so it's great to hear that from a woman, and it's great to hear that generally from women because it's a pleasure to hear women express that they care about men. It's not something that you hear a lot of no more. You know what I'm saying? And you know, every time you hear a woman talk about men, it's some bird shit. Real ass bitch, give a fuck about a nigga. It's some shit like that. You know, you see it literally all day online. You know, and every now and again, when you see a sister just show brothers in general respect and admiration and love and concern for our well-being, that's a win for everybody. And it's very refreshing to hear that as a man coming from a sister like that in a public forum and speaking to some of the specifics, you know, that it's literally shredding our bodies. Those were her words. It's literally shredding our bodies and affecting our productivity. You understand what I'm saying? And that's something that affects you at your core of being a man. And it's wonderful to hear a sister, a person of any stripe, but a sister especially, speaking to that and showing appreciation for the set of complications that we often deal with in that regard as men. Shout out to her.
Definitely. Drake.
Absolutely. I think I might have shared this story before on here, and it's probably when I'll share main time is because I feel like the lesson and the value from it is just so far spread and cross applicable. But several years ago, I remember I was out with my homegirl, and we had went to a real good party, real good party, out in I believe it was Hollywood. And it was out, and it was late. It was like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. We had left. We had a great time. We were starving. We were like, you know, let's get some food. We had a good time dancing out, you know, socializing and everything. So we can get some food. And so we went to the pizza spot, best pizza spot in South Florida, arguably. Shout out Moro's out there in downtown Hollywood. Phenomenal pie. So we went there, pulled up, got a great spot right in front of the restaurant. We were taking a second to gather our things to head out to grab the food. And we literally drove right into a situation. We just happened to observe it, where there was this dude who was homeless. I'm not going to say he was homeless per se, but he was definitely down on his luck. And he was looking through garbage cans to see if he could find some food to eat or whatever. And he was, you know, just minding his own business, not bothering anybody. And he got to a garbage can that was kind of just in front of the the restaurant in the background, right? That little sidewalk there. And then the parking spaces were right there in between. And the space next to us was occupied by a car full of girls, full of college-age girls, about maybe 4 or 5 of them in the car. And so they were kind of talking. I don't know if they were coming or going, what the case was. But they were in there, and it was kind of like this weird deer in headlights moment where everyone was just aware of each other. Like, us in the cars, we saw him looking through the other garbage can. And when he came to the next garbage can, I was right there kind of between the two of our cars. The girls were kind of looking at him like, oh my God, is he going to do it? He was kind of looking at them like, oh shoot, they're looking at me. And we were looking at him and looking at them. And immediately, me and my homegirl, love to death, you know, it was like a psyche moment. We both felt compassion for him because you could tell man's hungry, looking for some food. But he still had his pride intact where he saw the women looking at him. And he wasn't to the point where his pride was completely gone, where he didn't care, where he, you know, I got to eat. Screw what y'all want to think. He was still subconscious enough where he didn't want to be seen or looked down upon looking through the garbage. So we didn't even say a word. I just looked at her. She looked at me. We're like, bet. So we walked out the car. And she got to him before I did, because I had to take the keys out and everything first. She walked up to him and said, excuse me, how you doing? Are you hungry? And he was like, yeah, like, can you buy some food? We're going inside the pizza place. Like, that'll be great. And so we walk in there with him. We got our food. We got him some food. We literally got like a whole pizza, and the pizzas were big, like New York jumbo size pizza. Like one box could probably feed like a whole crew. We got a whole box of pizza. We literally kept half for ourselves. We gave him the other half. And we're like, you know, you want to drink whatever, get whatever you want, we got you. So we kitted him out for that evening for food. So he was straight, didn't have to worry about any food that night. But that always stuck in my mind how even though he's hungry, he's starving, that's high on his priority list, but also his pride was up there as well too. And typically pride can get a bad rap because usually pride leads people in all kind of downfalls and stupid decisions and whatever, all kind of hubris and whatnot. But an important element of pride is your self-esteem. You know, when you're raising your children, you send them out looking good, clean, presentable, their hair combed or brushed or whatever. Make sure there's no coal in the eye or sweat or whatever. And you tell your kids usually in the morning, you know, when you send them to school, make sure you listen to your teachers, follow instructions, obey. I don't want to hear anything. You're there to learn, you're not there to play around. You're carrying this family's name. When you're out there in school, when they see when you're a Smith, you're a Johnson, you're a Jones, you're a whatever, you're representing this family. Do not make this family look bad. Take pride in yourself. Take pride in your family. You're representing us, represent us well. Do not do anything that's going to dishonor or make this family look bad, right? So there's an important, powerful component of pride where it can be a positive thing as well. And so, you know, this man, he still had his pride intact where he's like, I'm down bad, but I'm not down so bad where I'm going to let people have the chance to look down on me. I still have my dignity. You know, that's not going to, I may have lost my home. I may have lost my job or whatever he was lacking. I don't know. But what I'm not going to lose is my self-esteem.
Yeah.
And so, like you said, it's one thing where men were able to see each other and recognize and acknowledge our pain and our frustration and our situations. But it hits on a deeper level when our women are able to see us and they have that compassion. Right? Because, and you know, the funny thing is a lot of women will joke talking about how, oh, you know, you men, you know, you don't like women, you guys like men, you like dealing with men. One of the things that goes in that is the fact that there's a level of respect and understanding men have with each other.
Yeah.
If we had more women who were understanding, more compassionate, willing to, you know, to actually go outside themselves and have sympathy and empathy, it wouldn't necessarily be this way. But unfortunately, a lot of men, their exposure to women or their dealings or their observations, more than anything else, inform them that if a woman sees me down bad, it's going to be brought up later on. It's going to be subject to girl gossip. It's going to be some sort of opportunity to malign me and denigrate me. Even if it's not intentional or like that situation, they see me down. They're just going to stare and watch me. They're not going to at least, you know, cut their eyes or go on about their business so I can get on with what I'm doing. They're going to sit there and just watch me. They're not going to be a helpmate to me. They're going to be another obstacle that I have to overcome.
Yeah.
So to hear a sister speak that way, and she was spitting facts. She wasn't talking out of behind. She was speaking accurately, intelligently, and with empathy. When you see that going on, you know, it just really makes you feel seen, arguably in a way that men can't reach. Because again, we expect each other to understand what we're going through. We don't as much expect women to get us. So when a woman is able to go outside of herself and see that, and to show love and support and compassion for us, that touches us at a heart level that not even our boys can reach us at, because we expect our boys to have us like that. When a woman who we know doesn't necessarily have that leaning towards us can do that for us, it makes us feel better at a different level. That's what happens when we're on the same page with one another.
Exactly. And I'm going to show this video right quick because we got James in the back, and I'm bringing James up on stage right now. And James is a blue collar man. And James, you know, he says he works on cars and he cuts lawn. And nowadays, it seems like a lot of women look down on guys like that. So I'm gonna play this video, and then I'm gonna bring James up on stage while the video is played, and we can get into it. All right?
Yeah. Man that's trying, that's doing everything in his power to get better and rise to the occasion of loving you, stay there. Because it's easy for you to be like, I can have anybody I want, because you can. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people want me, and that's probably true because you're beautiful. But you will quickly find out that a lot of the motherfuckers that want you, you don't even want. And a lot of men that want you will never love you, will never try as hard as the man that you are with right now, will never rise to the occasion of loving you. Sometimes that's the illusion. You'll be like, oh, you don't know how many men ask for my number. You don't know how many men I can have anybody I want. You don't be wanting people. That's very rare. So if you're in a relationship with a man who doing his very fucking best to learn you, to love you, to get better on behalf of loving you, stick the fuck around, because I'm trying to tell you that a lot of people want you, but a lot of people don't have the capacity to keep you, love you, or take care of you. Do not let the illusion of all these men wanting your number and liking your pictures and getting in your head even fuck you out of a good person that actually care about you. If you got a man that love you, if you got a man that's trying.
All right, so definitely, James, welcome to the stage, my brother. Appreciate
What's
you.
going on, fam?
Yeah, yeah. What's cracking, boss?
ATL.
All right.
Hey, appreciate it, man. I'm honored to be on this platform, man. I've been following
Welcome.
y'all brothers for a while before this, so I know it's just an honor to be on y'all platform, man, for real.
Definitely.
We appreciate you, brother.
Glad to have you, man.
Much love, bro. Much love, bro.
Glad to have you.
You talk about you do cars and you do lawn landscaping. So I wanted to know, I know you're very successful in what you do. Do you incorporate that with any children? Do you try to get them on to help you out or teach you, or you try to teach them? Because a lot of our children, they're not really into programs. They cut a lot of funding for programs. And a lot of these children are raised by single parents that don't really have time to really construct them into being a man. And then on top of that, we send a lot of these children straight to school and indoctrinate them and not give them the real good grounds of financial growth, which is through trades. Any day you can get fired from a job and you have to wait for jobs to hire you. Right now, it's a long wait right now to get another job. But if you know a trade, such as cutting yard or anything with doing mechanic, you can go out there and make a buck just like that. So is that something that you incorporate with the children around you? How is that going? And just give us a little detail in and out of that.
Okay. Well, first of all, I don't have any kids. I'm single, never married.
Nice.
And but I learned how to detail cars from my homeboy who owns the shop. He details 18 wheelers. He taught me how to do all that. So I kind of picked that up and ran with it after, I realized it's time for me to move on and deal with my stuff and deal with things myself. And I do in the neighborhood, just like when you play the woman telling about, about the first video clip.
Yeah.
That's who I grew up with. That's how I was raised. So it's a lot of these problems I avoid because I was raised in that environment.
Yeah.
So it was easy for me to get out here and talk to my brother like this because, like, even with kids who I don't even have, I have them help me detail the cars and stuff, and I pick up the leaves from the lawn. So and I give them this game because I tell them this. It's like when I leave, y'all, all my clients are gonna be y'all. I need you to understand that you can't. And there's a lot of young guys in this neighborhood, so I'm a those so-called YN. These little kids actually look up to them. And I try my best to try to split them away, but the parents understand. A lot of parents don't mesh with our type of mindset, and they think it's, I don't want to come off as weird either because I'm 40 with no kids. People have their stuff. I don't want to give nobody a chance to screw me over with all these laws in place. No, so I try to keep it within the realms of me. When I ask a young man to work with me, then I give him the game. And I let them run off with it. And some stick to it, some don't. I've actually seen some kids grow up and become champions because I was good at sports in high school and I coached them. After I, dropped out of college, I'm a Kanye West fan. Unfortunately, before Kanye West, BC.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, that's what I try to do. I've always been trying to do that because I understand I come from a single parent home, but I've had my father. I'm the oldest out of 8, so I've had my father for a little bit, but I understood what was needed in my life. And I had several uncles too, all of them businessmen. So I've just been around all of this, and it helped me. And and that's what frustrates me the most because I've been in the hood, but yet I've been in the highest places. And how we get treated is just, I don't understand how they can't think that because I'm in the hood or I'm a black man in the hood or hang around these people that can't teach you something other than what this white man that you so glorify to go learn from. Because I can teach you the same thing that he's going to teach you, but I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm not going to lie about nothing. That man, he's just using your number. Like the guy who taught me how to detail my best friend, Leroy Jenkins, Vice and Detailing. That man taught me how to detail cars, and I grew up around a shop my entire life. So it's just cool. Like you said, Anthony, man, you find my friends, you'll tell the type of man I am.
Yeah.
And it's the truth, man. I'm just proud to be in this situation. How I was raised. Understanding, yeah, we have to take up. It's up to us, man. It's up to all of us now. We got to take over. And fast too. If these young guys, oh my goodness, I had to save some cats from getting kicked out the store because they done stolen the store in the neighborhood. And they stay right down the street from me. And I'm like, look, man, we all got to live here. You got to play smart. If you're going to be dirty, why you going to do it where you sleep?
Right.
I mean, I'm not even no street dude. It's just,
principle.
I mean, I understand. I know what's going on out here. I know how your mother is and how she's, I try to just do my part a little bit by a little bit. And, and some things ain't worth posting, because I know all three of y'all brothers do good work. I wish we could advertise what y'all do because that's what's needed to show these kids, like, man, we got plenty successful, good brothers out here doing things.
Yeah.
But y'all choose to highlight these rappers, these athletes. That's what y'all choose to highlight.
Yeah.
That's why I be on. That's why I stay trying to be on every social media, spreading my propaganda, and that's the black meat. That's spirit.
Yeah, man. I just meeting you for the first time, and you're a solid brother. I didn't expect anything of it when, Bobby co-signed you and said you A1, and just hearing you speak, I already know you part of the ancestors. You know what I'm saying? You are the ancestors are proud of you because just by you giving good game to the children and showing them how to, catch their own fish. Showing them how to fish versus just giving them stuff. That's a gold nugget for themselves that they could take a long way and letting them know, hey, like when I'm gone, if you learn what I do, the clients are going to come to you. Their children are going to come to you. So I'm just passing the torch down to you so you can feed your family in many different ways. You can feed them by detailing the car. You can feed them by cutting the lawn. Everybody needs a lawn cut. Everybody has a vehicle that needs detailing. So it's an industry that always is in demand for somebody. Even if it's a $20, if you got, you can get a $20 meal and feed you, your girl, and 2 children if you have to. There's meals out there for $20 that are stretched for that. Our ancestors, our elders did that for us, you know what I'm saying? And you still could do it. It's not hard to make up a big pot of spaghetti under $20 that'll feed you if times come rough. But if I have to depend on a institution to give me a check, then I don't have $20. You know what I'm saying? And then I am going down to the local store and trying to rob them or sending my children down there to go steal to bring back something for us to eat. So, you're eliminating these type of scenarios within your community by giving them other options to let them know there's means out here that you can do to support your family without getting into that devious act or putting yourself in a subjective way of either getting locked up or having your family, your parents, to be under pressure to get you bailed out and having to find a lawyer for you. So it's a whole chain reaction that you're stopping them from doing. And I appreciate you, King. And, you know, it takes a lot for a man with no children to do that. I am a person who don't have children, but I look at everybody's children as my child. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I am part of the village.
I don't want your child trying to break in my house. I don't want that. You know, I want your child to break into the science competition that I know is going on. But y'all ain't trying to. And that right there, I'm a bit of a, I could say I'm a street nerd. I can honestly say that. And that's not a fake term because that's what my homeboys who out here in the street call me.
All right. All right.
I'm T'Challa around. I'm T'Challa in the neighborhood. So,
Yeah.
you know,
I'm with you.
I mean, it's a time and place for certain things, and certain. I can't give these kids everything. It does, like I said, it takes a village. It does. It truly does because if we don't start really bringing back what we had us who had growing up, if we don't start incorporating some of the good things that we did back then, now ourselves, we just have to. It's gonna get lost. These kids gonna get lost. And we need to get these institutions back, these programs back, where they can work after school during the summer. Or when some kids just stay in the neighborhood, don't have nowhere to go. Just have them cut the football field, have them picking up trash in the school. Just things that we can us in our own community.
Yeah.
We get together and go to these community meetings and start trying to have fundings for these programs if we want real change, because it's always going to start at home.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Agreed.
We do need political. Oh yes, Zip. I can't wait to hear y'all political for asking for real. Y'all, especially all y'all. We definitely need that ASAP.
Oh yeah.
Right now because there's a lot going on.
Definitely.
But,
And we're losing our children. It's kind of rough to balance out these children when you have two different parents on different chords. So, you say you don't have any children, which is dope because, and I say it's dope because you're not out here creating a dysfunctional household. You're like, hey, if I'm going to have it, let me organize it in a way where it is functional under one roof and being powerful. You just have a lot of people out here that really don't have discipline, and they just slanging their meat left and right. Then you have people out here that might be a good person, but then you didn't vet the person that you was with correctly, or you might have been young enough to know about vetting, and then when you got older and you already have a child with this person, you start to see that you guys were on two different wavelengths, and then you end up having a child that ends up like this. And I want to know you guys' opinions when you look at this video, and you tell me what you see and what you feel is going on here. All right. Let me see if I can. Okay, there we go.
Ain't got no money. How I posing it?
Mommy, can you send me $50? Daddy's talking about he don't got no cash for the card. Give me the money.
How I'm gonna give you the money? I don't got it.
Daddy, I don't got time to play. Can you give me the money? I'm hungry.
Why you out here asking for food? You had
Mommy,
me take
can
you here.
Just send me $50. He really getting on my nerves.
You shouldn't have asked me to bring you somewhere you ain't got no money. This is a life lesson. Don't be just getting in folk car asking for food and you ain't got no money. Where you going? I don't care. You should ask me to bring you nowhere.
So we see a lot of I see a lot of children responding to their parents like that. Fellas, what y'all got going on? What y'all want to say on that?
It's a new day, boy.
I'm at a loss for words, man. If I ever talk to either of my parents like that for any reason, when I woke up, you understand what I'm saying? When I woke up, I would have to apologize. God damn it! What the fuck is wrong with this little changeling? Look, man, I'm sorry. I love kids.
Yeah,
these little spawns of Satan, these little ill-mannered little bastards y'all have out here. It got fucked up when I was coming up.
Yeah,
it got fucked up on the house, as they should. All right, like I don't have no patience for no slick mouth ass kid at all. You understand? You know, and at the end of the day, it's just wrong on so many levels. If you know that your daughter is that ill-mannered, why do you want to record her and put her on the internet? Are you not embarrassed by that? Are you not embarrassed by that? If you know, and you know that she sits up there and talks to you like you're her child and don't blink, then got the nerve to get out the car. You're in the car. You're under my supervision. You're just going to get out the car and just go? I have to restrict my words. I have to choose my words real carefully because, boy, that type of shit get me hot. You understand what I'm saying? And, you know, this is what a steady diet of reality TV and nigga music and poor parenting gets you to. And then at the end of the video, he said, I don't care.
Yeah.
Nigga, what? You don't care?
Yeah.
And I mean, he said he's trying to teach her a lesson. So I'm not sure how the money thing is going, whatever the case may be. But I get where he's going. But just the idea that you're allowing your child to believe that you don't have $50. $50 is not an exorbitant amount of money. You understand? Furthermore, you don't need $50 to get something to eat. I mean, I could go on all day picking out the things that are wrong with this video and other videos like it that you see online. You see all this brain rot online and you wonder why the kids are so fucked up. It's because they're looking at little changelings like that. And that's where they're downloading, you know, their behavioral attributes from. Everything around them is toxic. You know what I'm saying? And God bless her. I hope she grows out of that. But she's still a child. And so you really have to lay blame at the feet of the parents. At the end of the day. And if if she's on the phone talking to her mama about, you know, what her dad ain't doing, basically saying, oh, this bitch ass nigga ain't saying what I want to hear. And she's co-signing it. What you think she gonna grow up like? What do I always say? This is what I always say, and I'm sorry, I'm gonna just put it out there. The number one tenet of having a peaceful household is order. If you don't have no order, nothing else matters. You understand what I'm saying? And in that household, I know it's a train wreck because there's clearly no order. I'm just saying. Wow.
And in the comments, it said, what does she need $50 for? What the hell is she going to go buy for $50?
That's what I'm saying. And the entitlement to feel like he has to give it to you.
The
fuck is wrong with you? Like, oh man.
Who want to Who want to go next? You, James, you want to go? Or Bobby, you want to go? Because I know y'all got.
Let James cook. Let James cook.
My thing is that these women know the type of man they want. They know what they doing. The man he's obviously the husband, but she has a side dude somewhere else. I mean, because in what world would a child, when my wife co-signed my child about finances in my house, like, are you, bruh? I just don't understand how these women vet these men and then start making assumptions about all of us as men and generalizing us. And they wonder why we get mad when y'all generalize. None of that seems like those are, like I said, parents living their second childhood with a child. Because I mean, it was all messed up. There's so much. I pray that was a skit because they need therapy ASAP. Like, I mean, who do we need to call? Because I mean, they need help. Because it's like, if this is what we're doing to get clicks and views, I mean, that's just going to cause even more mental damage to the party. So it's just to me that's what's throwing me off. I'm like, these are the type of skits y'all doing to get attention,
Yeah.
and they say these are skits, but these are no. This happens in real time.
Yeah.
Whether we want to believe that or not, they say it's 6
That's
foot
right.
old. No, hey, I can't say a lot of things, but I know a lot of things, man. But man, it's just sad. We got to start. I implore everybody to do this, even if you got a significant other. Y'all go without a phone for a week. Just leave your phone on for a week. Get back to
Yep.
interacting.
Yeah.
I'm telling that makes a world of difference. That makes a
Yeah.
world of difference.
Well said. Well said.
Mm-hmm.
Drake.
Thanks. No, that's some real stuff that James was saying, man. You know, it's not a coincidence that when you listen to, and they've done interviews and they've talked about this, and you have some of the biggest tech moguls, your Bill Gates, Steve Jobs back when he was alive, Tim Cook, and these big tech moguls, the heads of IBM, Apple, Microsoft. Jenny says, "I'm late. Excuse me if this was already said. The child has heard the mom and dad disrespect each other. The child thinks it's okay." Because I was actually getting there too. I didn't see that comment, but I was actually going to get there too. But it's not a surprise when you talk to them. They'll tell you that they restrict the amount of screen time that their children have during the week, the amount of media time that they have. During the week, they either don't have access to that stuff or they have very, very minimal access to it during the week. And usually during the weekends is when they get access to it, if they get any at all during the week. And even on the weekends, if they get a little more access, it's only a little more access. It's not a surprise that in China, altogether, as a nation, they do a lot of restriction on what their children have access to in the homes because they understand that this stuff can be used to screw with your mind.
Yeah.
It's not a surprise that in the United States of America now, they're not doing nearly as much as other places are, but they're starting to go ahead and put laws on the books and legislation to prosecute companies for how they advertise and market and sell certain content to these children because they understand that this stuff can mess you up. You have small children, and mind you, they're not adults, and it's dangerous for some adults as well too. But these children do not have any life experience whatsoever. The life experience as our children are growing up is very, very it's very controlled. They live in our households, so they really only have exposure to what we're exposed them into our houses. They go out to school, they get the learning from there. So there's not too much. They don't have cars where they're able to go out and do what they want to do and go to their own places. They're dependent on the adults in their life to pretty much give them their exposure to the outside world. So outside of the adults, the only exposure they have to outside is what they have on their damn phones and on their TV screens. So by default, they recognize that difference. Okay, so this is my own independent exposure to the world out there. A lot of what they see on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, these social media sites, they're interpreting that as this is real life data. The same way how we would get on our phone for a road trip and pull up Google Maps and find the route, that's how they're treating social media. So when they see this garbage, when they see this reality TV nonsense, their minds don't have a filter to say, okay, so this is BS, this is bullshit, this is real stuff over here. They all interpret it the same way. I spent almost a good decade in the classroom. I've been in elementary school classes where I had young students, little girls. If you listen to them talk, you swear to God up and down that you was watching an episode of Basketball Wives, and you just right there like, the hell is she talking like that for? Or they pull up to school, they're not even in 5th grade yet, but they got a grown ass, hello Barbara, this is Shirley style hairdo with the baby hairs painted out and everything. Like, mama, you way too young for this nonsense. You're gonna pull all your hair, you're gonna be bald headed as hell by the time you're 19 years old. So we got to be mindful about what they've been exposed to and how they're also interpreting this. But also what Jenny said is very on point because that was the first thing that jumped out at me. I don't think that this couple is married. If this is a legitimate video, it's not a skit, then I don't for one second think that they're married. This sounds very much to me like a split custody type of situation. Because even in some of the worst marriages that I'm aware of, I don't know any mother, I don't know any woman married to her husband that she has a half a grain of respect for that's going to listen to her daughter talking like this to her husband and isn't going to damn near reach through the phone and snatch her little narrow ass through the AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile cellular network, drag her ass there and let her have it. I've never heard of it, never seen it. That is not behavior that children engage in when they know they got to go home to the consequences. You do that when you know you're cutting up and you ain't gonna be back here for another weekend. And based on how the mother is dealing with that conversation, it sounds like she also gets the attitude from her mother. So she hears her mother treat her father this way, so she feels like, okay, so it's open season on dad. Mama don't respect daddy, who's the first man in my life. The first woman in my life isn't respecting the first man in my life. So she's teaching me, this is how I teach men, this is how I treat men.
Yeah.
And then when she becomes 30, 40 years old, and she's struggling to keep a good relationship because of attitude and her personality, then it's, these men are weak. These men can't handle a strong woman, insert neck rolling, finger wagging right there. That's how you get here.
It's a vicious cycle.
So we have to be mindful of this. This, what we're seeing right here, this is not a victimless crime. This is not innocent.
Yeah.
Her father might be catching the bullets today, but tomorrow it's going to be the men in her age group that have to deal with this when they deal with her.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we have to be very mindful of when you have children, not when you have children, when you engage with children in any capacity. That's why I've always said that when you have the ear of the youth in any way, shape, or form, it is a privilege. It is a high privilege and an honor. You are in position to do God's work because when you have the children in front of you, you literally have the ability to change. You can't time travel, but you have the ability to change the future right then and there because the gems that you imparted them kids, for better or for worse, trust me, these kids may look like they're rolling their eyes, they're not listening to what you got to say, but what we say to them sticks in there. And at some point down the line, that's going to come about their system. They're going to spout off. I still remember some things that I'm surprised that older people who had my ear when I was younger comes out now as an adult. And it's crazy sometimes when I catch that, like, oh, Mr. So-and-so said that. Yeah, I remember what's his name? The Live Next Door said that. It's crazy, but it happens. And I know y'all laughing because y'all are catching some moment. You're like, yeah, I remember that happened the other day. So be very careful about how you shape the future. It's not an innocent thing where you put certain things in their heads. Be mindful of the future that you're creating. That's a huge responsibility.
Yeah, definitely. I was laughing at you and what Jenny is saying. She was like, 50 for food, you better accept this $5 biggie bag. I was dying. I ain't heard biggie bag in a long time.
Hilarious.
Look, when we was that age, you get the kids meal, and your only choice are: do you want chicken nuggets, do you want the hamburger, or the cheeseburger? That's it.
Yeah,
that's it.
That was it.
And you better not complain because we got McDonald's at home too, so we don't even have to do this. Be great.
And that's. I'm glad you said that because now we into this seafood boil, and these kids are eating luxury food like it's everyday thing. So it's like the stuff that we grew up on. That seems like garbage food to them. That's like a
smartest kid in school to go to Red Lobster just to get Red Lobster. Like what I had to accomplish things. You know what I'm saying? These kids just get this type of stuff that we had to work hard for. The parents are just giving it to them. I'm sorry. Y'all be spoiling these kids. Y'all ain't letting them get it out the mud. Like show them this for real, man. Because it's a different time.
Even in the Boondocks, you remember what Riley said? You take out the Red Lobster with the cheddar biscuits. The family ain't eating cheddar biscuits.
I know.
And Dad don't feed her. This is foreign. We don't know about the kids, man. Look.
Yeah, it's
a new day, boy.
It is a new day. And the thing about it is, men, like I say, I was praising James. Pretty much all the men on here on this platform, we don't have children and we don't slang dick like that. We have dick discipline. So we're not reckless with our genitals. And that's a good thing because, you know, you have a lot of guys out here like this. So I'm going to play 2 clips for you guys and show you exactly what I'm talking about. The first clip is pretty funny. So I'll play that.
Addicted to drugs? No, I can quit drugs anytime. Sometimes I go 2 days without getting high. I got hooked on something much more dangerous than drugs. I became addicted to something called pole. Shut up!
I'm ready to fuck some. Shout out some Big East. I'm ready to fuck some.
All right.
Right.
So
Okay.
so I played the first one was just comical, right? But the second one is the guy was out on a double date. He hooked his homeboy up with his girl's friend, and they having a good time, they eating, and then he said, "Yeah, you know, this is good food, man. I'm full now. Now I'm ready to fuck something." So the homeboy like, "Nigga, that is reckless." Like, and the homegirl like, "This is who you put my homegirl up with?" And the homegirl like, "Who you finna fuck?" Because it ain't me tonight. You know, but we have a lot of guys that's in that situation that are thirsty like that. And I just wanted to show those 2 skits. So you guys could chime in on that. Have you guys ever had a situation where you put somebody down and he was a little thirsty on a double date or anything like that? Fellas, y'all have any?
Yeah.
Hell, yeah. You
go ahead.
No,
man.
no,
go ahead, bro. You get it.
Man, yes. These dudes, my fellas, my brothers, all my like I learned the game. My uncle, I didn't need Tariq Nasheed. I learned the game at age 14. And when I saw the girl on her rollerblades going down the street, I lost my. It was like the game just came within me. I don't know. It just happened. That was the first girl I remember talking to. Oh my God, never forget it. You know what I'm saying? First lost me virginity. But these dudes don't know how to approach women. They don't know how to just go with the flow. They see this shit. They really think that Future is just bagging these chicks because of the game he has. No, nigga, you're looking at TV. They really believe the TV stuff. I mean, it's crazy to me that people don't understand by just sitting there and just being yourself. You can get so much more from women, but these dudes they feel like they don't want to feel. I guess that's where pride comes in when they feel like I don't want to do what he doing, even though what I'm doing is successful because I got you here with the chicks, bro. Like not just be you.
Yeah.
You know, it's he want to try his way, but your way hasn't been working, bro. Why do you think we here? Like, come on, man.
Hey.
Follow me, so they don't want to admit that you have to follow people. And that's why I was like, when I started hearing Tariq Nasheed, you know, Macario and them, I'm like, oh, okay. You know, even for myself, I had to learn a little. I'm like, oh, I was messing up. You know, so you know, that's mainly what it is. You know, and that's why I'm kind of glad that we have these spaces so these brothers can get their game right, man. Because it's like, oh my goodness, bro. What's all I heard? And then nowadays, it's way easier to get a woman now. It's like, oh my God, like, is it that easy? I feel what Tupac said. I don't want it if it's that easy. You know she out here just dropping it off.
Yeah, definitely. You know, even when I was telling people, like, during our era, there was a lot of thirsty guys and a lot of guys, but our era when I grew up was more in the club setting. So a lot of the game you had to really navigate in the club setting because a lot of our era women was really club hoppers. So a lot of guys used to come up to me and be like, "Yo, how you know so many women and how these women gravitate towards you?" And I would tell them that the trick of the trade is, see, when y'all go in the club, y'all see a nice woman, and the first thing y'all do is y'all bum rush her. Or if she's on the dance floor, the first thing you do is you run behind her to grind on her, right? And I'm saying to y'all, that's the worst thing you want to do. And the reason why it's the worst thing you want to do is because you don't know how her day is. You didn't check her temperature to see how she is in that club. Because let me tell you something, a lot of times we're in the club and we think that they just hopping around just to hop around. And a lot of them come there to relieve a lot of stress. They done dealt with some bullshit at work. They homegirls took them out to get a drink to relax. They probably dealt with a fucked up nigga, you know, or a death in the family. You know what I'm saying? And they just trying to get their mind on. So now you got to understand the temperature and crack the ice, but you guys just jumping on that. And when you pounce on it and she got all this stuff here, that's when I see a lot of shit go sideways, where arguments break out, fights break out between men and women, or dudes getting straight up cussed out because you jumping behind her and you never check the ice to make sure it was okay. So it's kind of like you just forcing yourself on the woman. So I was giving guys this game, and I've seen a lot of guys transform into being that thirsty dude to end up being one of the highly acquired dudes in the club, because the approach was that you come out there to help break the ice. So what I used to do was I was very good at dancing. So I would go on the dance floor and I would dance and I would watch women, peep game of which woman was watching me. And depending on if I was vibing and like how that woman looked, what I would do was I would grab her hand. I would reach out. I would put my hands out for her to reach my hand. She would reach my hand and I would take her hand and put it over my shoulder like this. And I would grind on her and put her in the position of her being the dominant position, meaning being the man and I'm being the girl. So when I do that, I'm actually now breaking the ice, because now she has control where she can push me off or she can vibe like they normally do. 9 times out of 10, that's exactly what happens. So they laughing and they smiling because I'm not jumping behind her, but the way I'm dancing, you know, the Jamaican wine, I'm whining on her in the front and she's going crazy because she's like, oh shit, this is some wild ass shit. I've never had a guy do that type of reverse type of reality to me. And a lot of guys used to see that and they took that and they ran with it. And it was a more safer approach than just jumping behind a woman and just trying to grind on her like that. Let her come to you. Let her be open. Break that ice first and then work your way into it. So that would be my advice that I used to give to guys that was very successful, because the other way around, man, it was too many fights and it was just unnecessary bullshit going on. And I'll land my plane on that.
You should timestamp what you just said 10 seconds ago. You should timestamp that and make that a short on YouTube or for like when you speak for Instagram or something.
Yeah,
that
it
was
is.
deep. Yeah, because that's
free
a real
game.
That was real game. That was real game. A lot of these young cats. That's what they think that you tripping. Oh, why you ain't trying to talk to her? I'm like, bro, I can tell what her life is just the way she walked in here and said, "Hey," like no, it's it's like the body contact, the gesture, man, that's real live game. You know what I'm saying? And that's more what these young cats need to listen to. For real.
Okay.
They're just absolutely thinking that everything they just trick. They really just big tricks. Some young tricks. I ain't never seen young tricks. And just like you buying all this Amiri just to go to a movies with a chick. You out your mind? Yeah. I would never let you work with me again. Just go home. I'm like, bro, oh man, it's crazy. You young cats, bro. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's outrageous. This shit is outrageous, bro. Yeah, look, we got this guy in the video had absolutely no game. You know what I'm saying? That's the obvious. But we got cats out here like Drewski, who is a public figure, papered up. You understand what I'm saying? Got in the public spotlight. don't think enough of himself to just get a girl on his own. He's paying this girl, Ruby Rose, and I don't see anything. I mean, she's a nice looking lady, but I mean, as soon as she open her mouth and start talking, you understand what I'm saying? Like, it's a wrap. She opens her mouth and shit just falls out. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like, why? Dude, you don't value yourself, and in addition to the fact that you don't value yourself, this is the kind of woman you want to stand next to. We got a lot of work to do as a group. What's up, Lowell? What's up, Jenny? What's up, chat? We got a lot of work to do as a group. You know what I'm saying? And that's why we do Manversations 2020. It's Manhood 101. We give a lot of game on this show. And what I like to, back in the days, because we're talking about this no game ass nigga in this video. So we just, because obviously that was just a corny ass thing to say. It fucked up the energy, got the girl looking at you like you got 3 heads and shit. Like, you ain't getting no ass. If you was getting no ass, you just talked yourself out of the ass. You understand? So, fellas, it would behoove you, you know what I'm saying, to keep your calm. Less is more. You understand? Less is more when she's already sitting there on a date with you, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Use that opportunity to get to know her, to determine if she's even worthy of laying down with. You understand what I'm saying? I'm going to just keep it a buck. Every female ain't worth laying down with.
Forever.
You understand? I got every female ain't worth laying down with. You dig? So, fellas, y'all got to understand. Y'all gotta qualify these females before you go rush and start talking about draws. Oh, I'm ready to fuck something. I just ate. I'm ready to fuck something. You sound like a plantation buck, nigga.
Yeah.
And nobody, and they're going to react to you like a plantation buck. They're not going to respect you. You dig? And just some real quick game, because a lot of guys used to ask me this. Dudes used to ask me all the time, like you said, and how you know all these women? Damn, all these women, they just come up and just start talking to you. What do you do to them? Jenny know me from back in the day. She just called me out in the chat. Before Marriage Major would talk to women nice. If women didn't pass the 2.5 second conversation, he'd walk away. You damn right.
I was about to tell Ann. Snitching. Don't let me look. She's snitching. She's spilling the tea.
It's real.
Yeah.
I've always been picky. If you it don't matter how fine you are. If you open your mouth and you sound like a yuck mouth hood rat, I'm skating. I ain't got time for. I'll leave you standing there. I'll initially go up and talk to you. Hey, how you doing? Blah blah blah. You open your mouth and it's yuck mouth babble. I'll just walk the fuck off. You know what I'm saying? Like it, and just leave you standing there looking stupid because I have standards. I value myself. You know what I'm saying? If you're a beautiful young lady, I always tell guys this, just a tip on game as far as how to talk to women, since we're on that, right?
Yeah.
To me, if you're a sensible guy, and I only hang around sensible guys, right, that know how to speak. And I had this homeboy, used to be my best friend, and he was so chicken to talk to women. He admitted this.
Yeah.
And I used to tell him, bruh, just tell me the shit. Just tell them the shit that you're telling me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because they be talking to me, man, she's so beautiful. Oh my God, I never seen her here. I wonder if she came here before. You know what I'm saying? You know, this, that, and the third. Okay. Dumb nigga, you telling me that. I don't need to hear it. Hey, how you doing? You look really beautiful tonight. I've never seen you here before. You new here? Boom, you just started the conversation.
Yeah.
Everything you said to me, you need to transfer that to her. Now, this only works if you know how to talk. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. If you one of them A-Red, what's up, though? You know, hey, you get fries to go with that shape. You know, your name must be Candy because you look so sweet. If you one of them goofy ass niggas, no. Don't say what you're thinking.
No, but it's a time and place for that. I say it's a time and place. They like that shit. I ain't gonna put some women love that little corny ass shit, but especially when I started talking to my ATS, like, Shawty, come here. Where you going, Shawty? They go crazy when I start acting like that. But it's a time and place for it. A lot of them don't know when to turn it on. They just think like you said, they don't know how to talk. Honestly,
It's
some of these kids
it's
are
a
rookie.
way you can pull that shit off. And dudes
Yeah.
with extreme swag, maybe. But as a general
Right.
rule, if you're a beginner, I wouldn't recommend it. I'm just
Yeah.
saying. You gonna get your feelings hurt. But like, just guys, just be yourself. Be confident and tell the young lady what it is that you think. You don't tell your homeboy, tell her. Shit. What's Lowell talking about? Lowell.
What? Hey, Lowell, don't do that, bro.
Oh shit. Lowell is into the chat. Lowell is into the chat. Wow.
Lowell, my boy, man. Hey.
Lowell say he would go
Lowell,
to
real
a club and a chick will step to her brother. They get to talking. And she'll ask her what she thinks about Marcus Garvey. He would ask her what she thinks about Marcus Garvey. And if she said who that, he'd just walk away. Shout out to Lowell for being Lowell.
Hey, that's
my man said he was the Dr. Umar of the club. I feel
hey, one thing about it. Hey, one thing about it is that you can't be conscious with a coonette. You can't do it. You can't do it. It won't work.
Talk
laughing,
about
but
it.
we're not laughing.
Let me
We
tell you
laughing,
something.
but we're not laughing. Hey.
Facts. Let me tell you something though. Lowell makes a very interesting point because that's another. We gotta do a whole show on that. I think. But there's something that I do. Like most guys will struggle to talk to females.
Yeah.
As I think Jenny was alluding to earlier in this thread, I would struggle to continue to talk to females.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I look at you and I keep looking at you, okay, and I go over and I start talking to you, the challenge is not for you to talk to me.
Yeah.
Or for me, the challenge is for me to keep talking to you. Because if you say some stupid shit, it's a wrap. And sometimes you gotta stupid shit vet women and you gotta coon vet women. I'm gonna just go ahead and say it. Because you never know when you might be talking to a Candace Owens. You understand what I'm saying? Or another such type woman. You dig? Sometimes you got a coon vet, stupid chick vet, and coon vet. Because
I just started doing that in 2022. Like,
wow.
real talk.
You just did it?
I just started having to do that, bro, because I understand that we all like the same things and stuff. We have a lot in common, but when it really comes to these politics, I'm like, okay, now you're starting to talk about my well-being.
Yeah.
We're not on the same court. This is not going to work.
Yeah.
This is not going to work.
All facts.
And it's detriment to me, my family, because I love to be around my mom, my brother, and them. Hey, hold up now.
That's real.
I'm not the one to worry about it. I bring you around those, and you talk crazy like this around them, like, yo.
Yeah. You don't want nobody embarrassing you.
That's true.
Yeah,
remember last week, if you watched us last week, James, we talked about that. We brought that up where the woman shot the pastor over that argument of religion. You know, religion and politics is two serious topics. You know, you go all the way left with it.
And that's why I hate when I see thirsty dudes or dudes that literally. I hate that the stereotype even exists of men being dogs or just, they'll hunch anything, they'll put their Johnson in anything that has a hole between two legs or even two leg-shaped things. I hate that idea because not only does that do a whole lot to decrease our standing in not just women's eyes, but in eyes of society in general, including men, but it also lets women get away with so much. If you are a dude that's about something, man, you really need to learn how to exercise your selection power. Because if you just a bum dude, if you a bum ass nigga, then don't nobody care what you got to say or think about anyways. You have no productive qualities to society whatsoever. So no one's checking for you. But if you halfway have something going for yourself, you have to have some self-pride about yourself and really treat yourself like like a concert or VIP event. It's VIP access only. You have general admission, but there's VIPs, and just like in the line, VIPs get preferential treatment. The mindset that I have now, and I've had this for a little while. I'm not going to pretend like I always had it. I've been lying.
Yeah.
But I would say for the better part of my life when it comes to dealing with women, I've had the mindset of W.E.B. Du Bois. I'm on my Lowell vibe right now. And when W.E.B. Du Bois was doing his schooling, he graduated from Harvard, and he's known as being the first Black person, period, to graduate from Harvard University. And so when they presented him with his degree or whatever, they told him that, congratulations, you have the honor of being the first Black man to graduate from Harvard. And W.E.B. Du Bois, that boy is cool as hell. He was cool as the other side of the pillow at the Burj Khalifa. He told them, I assure you, the honor was Harvard's.
There it is.
That's cold.
There it is. That's cold.
Harvard
That's
University
cold.
to this day is the that right there is the platinum diamond standard for education in the West as a whole, but especially the United States. If you say you went to Harvard, that's a name all by itself. They're like, congratulations, you have the honor of being the first Black graduate from Harvard. That man took that thing and said, I can assure you, the honor was Harvard's.
That's so gangster.
That's how you need to be. If you are a man that's about business, you need to understand that your seal of approval is supposed to speak volumes. And that's why I don't take personally, it's not even just about relationships, it's about relationships, period. I do not vouch for people.
Yeah.
When I said earlier that, shout out James, he's been consistent. I've been having my eye on the brother. I see him in the circles that we be in, even by passing. I see his name. I see the right people mentioning his name. I see him on the right side of things. Big up to James. He's about business. I'm not saying that lightly. I am very intentional about my name staying clean out here in these streets.
Yeah.
If I vouch for somebody, if I say such and such about somebody, if you see me out here with somebody, whether it's a woman I'm with or a partner of his business, whatever, if you see me out here giving my stamp to anybody, it means a thorough.
Yeah.
Because what you're not about to do is embarrass me.
Right.
I promise you 100%, it's not about me, it's about you. Because if you were, I don't know, I might not call you out, but I just wouldn't say anything about you. You just be, all right, cool. I like James. There's most people like that. I like so-and-so, I like this person. They cool, we chat, we laugh, whatever, such and such. But I'm not really predominantly sure about you one way or the other. So I'm not going to put my name out. I'm not going to sabotage my name recognition to co-sign for you if it's not worth it.
True.
Several motherfuckers like that.
If I co-sign somebody that do fall flat, I get pissed. There are people that I've recommended or I've advocated for to certain people that are like, hey man, what's up with your boy? What's up with your girl? But they fell flat. And they may not recognize it, but I got hot.
Yeah.
I really got mad, like you spilled something on my fresh white shirt. I got mad because I put my name out here with this person. They got me out here looking like a dumbass. And so I'll tell you, like 3 months. I'm like, I'm not co-signing nobody. I don't care who it is. I ain't co-signing nobody. I'm mad. I got to get over this first because I value my name brand recognition. So if I'm saying such and such is this, such and such is that, that means that I really bang with you the long way. But most important of all, I've observed you, and either you solid or you really cover your tracks very, very well. It's one of the two. But I don't give that stamp lightly. So if you see me with a woman, if I'm with her, if I'm talking with her, that means that I'm really got my eye on you. I'm really seeing certain things, and you at that level. So everybody can't say that they're my friend. Everybody can't say that they've done business with me. Everyone can't say that they've dated me or that I've even been interested in them. It's for a reason. And usually, in most cases, when I'm dealing with somebody, every now and then I might have somebody else say, hey, I see why you rock with so-and-so. And I'm like, oh, I know. So dudes need to get at that level. It should be, when it comes to dating and relationships, it should be an honor for her to be dealing with you. But that's not supposed to be one-way street. It's supposed to be an honor for her to be in your presence. You and a good man is supposed to be a co-sign of a woman. That's when they talk about I'm gonna make an honest woman out of you, that
Yeah.
basically means that the dude is of such a high moral and solid standing that she has to be pristine to be with him. I don't gotta run a background check on her. She's with him, so he's the background check.
Yeah.
And a lot of us have forgotten that or don't understand what that is, and so we take that lightly. But dudes, brothers, you're supposed to be so thorough in how you handling business out here that anybody seen with you automatically gets a cosign.
It is. It is.
So the whole bang and everything, I'm running up on everything. Brothers, you got to control yourself, control your hormones. Get to the point where quantity doesn't matter to you anymore nearly as much as quantity. And if you haven't experienced it yet, I'm telling you right now, one quality woman, where 25, 50 of them random hodgepodge rods. It's not even close. It don't matter.
Facts.
You could be full off that meal forever.
There it is. There it is.
Get to that point, but build yourself up, brothers, first and foremost, where you can call shots like that, because you can't be Linus from Peanuts on the group with all the little bed bugs, the dust bunnies around. You can't be that dusty ass nigga, Ashley Larry, calling shots like that. You got to make sure that you at that level first and foremost, and then you can call them shots like that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right. So I want to show another part of what a lot of men go through, and it's also what type of woman do you select? You know, a lot of women out there, a lot of women out here, but do you have a good woman? And what does a good woman consist of? I'm going to show you 2 videos, all right? And then we can get a better understanding of what I'm trying to convey to you.
Fellas, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to hop off.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry.
Appreciate you, brother.
No, we appreciate you, King. You know,
Thanks for sharing the time you did, brother. We appreciate
yes,
you.
man. You know, it's like we're sitting on a whole couch, man. So, you know, come lounge in with us anytime you want, man. We appreciate you.
Yay.
Definitely will be back. I appreciate you guys, man.
Blessings.
Yay.
All right.
All right. Peace. For sure. Shout out to James, man.
Yeah.
Cool, dude.
James C, the homie.
It's a good brother. It's a good dude, man. Really is.
So here we go with the first video. All right.
Well, I saw some video of some guy interviewing 2 black girls on the street. He asked them, he like, would you rather $10 million for yourself or $100 million if we give it to your nigga, whatever? The first girl gonna say $10 million for me. And then the second girl was like, I give $100 million to my boyfriend. So then her friend like, what? What? Why would you give $100 million to your boyfriend? He could probably take that money and never spend it on you, da-da-da. She over there talking about something, no, that's my boyfriend, da-da-da. The friend over there trying to convince her to take the $10 million for herself, explaining to her that her boyfriend not going to give her the money. Then the friend going to switch her answer to the $10 million. I hate bitches like that. Because, bitch, you know how locked in you and your nigga is. And you know, that's why you picked $100 million for him, because you know you and him is locked in. But you let a salty, dumb-ass bitch who probably never had a nigga or a father or uncle or a brother, a man in her life, try to convince you that taking $10 million for yourself was better than $100 million for your man who you probably been with for more than 5 years. All right.
All right.
Men aren't really great for your relationship. Why do you say that? If they don't want or have the same type of relationship that you do. I have heard people say, it don't take all that. Why are you cooking for him? Why are you packing extra? What is he doing for you? I'm not listening to that. Go live your own life. This is what I'm doing. But I do have girlfriends. We get together once a month. We have kind of like our ladies of leisure. I'm really okay with, a select few. And my man is the priority, so yeah.
You heard it here first, guys. You heard it. You know, with my girlfriends, what I did is I used to have girlfriends that were all over the place, and I realized that you are a combination of the 5 people you're closest to. So you want to make sure those people are where you're wanting to go. So my girlfriends now, when I tell you, movers and shakers and supportive, and we all kind of have the same goals, and we all have the same types of relationships.
That's good.
So when you're going through something with your guy, your husband, and he's saying, whatever, my girlfriends are the one that's just like, girl,
You better get back in there. Divorce is looking ugly. You don't want to know what's out here in the street. Because I didn't really have that community coming out of corporate America, I work with a lot of masculine women. And so it was hard to have that type of friendship. Because I'm usually that friend. I'm usually that one saying, you don't want to be out here. Yeah. No, he wasn't mean. This is just how men are. Yeah. They are very direct in their communication. He's not trying to hurt your feelings. He's trying to protect you. So I'm usually that strong one. Women aren't really great for your relationship.
Yep. All right.
Whoa. Oh man.
Fire, right? Fire.
Oh man.
Hold on. Let me channel my black Ric Flair right quick.
Yeah. That shit was lit. Wow.
Cooking.
She was cooking. And you know, I always try to put sisters on this game. You know what I'm saying? First things first. 10 million for you versus 100 million for your boyfriend. I try to stay away from these whataboutisms. Yeah. You know, these silly ass what if questions that seem to be kind of designed for gender war type discussions. You know what I'm saying? It's usually some fucking imbecile that's asking the question. You know what I mean? But it depends. I would have to say that it depends on the level that you're at. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And if it's just somebody you've been dating, you know, for 3 months, maybe you take the 10 million for yourself. Yeah. But if it's somebody that you're really locked in with, yeah, I can totally see the 100 million for your boyfriend. You understand? Yeah. I can totally see it because you understand that he's going to bless you back because y'all locked in like that.
Yeah.
But it's levels. You understand what I'm saying? It's levels. But the larger point in that video, I think, was the unruly chick influencing the opinion of what seemed to be the more centered chick. You know what I'm saying? And the sister was pointing out that point that a lot of times, if you hanging around with some bird brain ass chick, she'll make you lose your blessings because she in your ear with some bullshit. You understand what I'm saying? That's very true. So I mean, shout out to that sister for acknowledging that point. And you know, a lot of women, you know, unfortunately, they listen to their friends way too much. They're single, undesirable, yuck mouth, stank toe ass friends. Like, you know, bro, you can't listen to people who don't have a proven track record. And most of the time, when you have somebody in your ear talking like that, they ain't got no proven track record. Again, I'm just kind of inferring some logic because I've seen that kind of thing before. And I know what kind of person that friend is most of the time. But yeah, so that's it for that one. That second video, though. What about your friends? Oh my God. What did Anthony say on the introduction to this show? You introduced me to your friends, and I'll tell you about you based on who your friends are.
Yeah.
Dutch.
All right. Come on now. You did. Hold up. I met a friend at work 7 years ago. She supported and been there for me more than my friends I've known over 20 years. Shout out to you, Jenny. That's a rare thing. I want to
again, quality, not quantity, quality.
Yes. Shout out to you and that sister. And that's one. And you maybe got two more.
Yeah.
Maybe her, Dantea, and one other person, and that's it. You dig? Because you know how it is. You know the scarcity of friends. You dig? So, but it sounds like that's a very good quality person. I'm glad that she's close to you. But just broadly speaking, you got to be very mindful about who you keep around you.
Yeah.
You know, and if you got, I like this sister too, because she's talking about how immature she was. And I like her accountability.
Yeah.
But it's about the growth, sister. Look where you at now. You know what I'm saying? That's what matters. That second conversation was deep because, you know, this sister's talking about how, you know, she's basically, you know, eradicated her friends that wasn't on the level. You know what I'm saying? And I love that. And it's going to come to a point where a lot of women, you're going to have to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're going to have to do that. Men too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But men tend to listen to their friends a bit less, I think.
Yeah.
Or at least from my experience. You know, it's on both sides. But, you know, I have this situation. Every woman I've ever dated, I've had this situation where it was a friend that was a problem, except for my current wife. There was a friend that was a problem. She got rid of her ass. You know what I'm saying? It's like clockwork, you know, because she's sharp enough to know I can't really be fucking with these kind of people, you know. And ladies, you really, really have to realize that. I think it's a little different with women, because with women, it's all about being nice and being sweet and, you know, whatever. And, you know, being very empathetic. That's a very feminine trait. And you keep a lot of motherfuckers around that don't need to be because of that.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm here to tell you, get rid of them hoes. I'm here to tell you, off rip, don't do it to yourself, because you have to be equally yoked in a friendship capacity. You know, if you hanging around 4 hoes, the concept is that you the 5th.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be reality, but people look at things that way. You know, if somebody posted up the other day, Ugly Money Nietzsche, he made a post the other day of, you know, 5 red flags to look for in women. And I think one of them was, you know, women that share Ace Metaphor and Derek Jackson videos. Check. You know what I'm saying? Women that listen to ratchet music. Check. Women that wear provocative clothing. Check. You know, these type of things. And another one was, you know, women that hang with a bunch of hoes.
Yeah.
You know, or a bunch of, it ain't even got to be hoes, just women, you know, who are unpleasant and have very negative demeanors. You know, that gets to you after a while, you know, and you start absorbing who they are and becoming who they are. And that's going to then seep into your quality relationship with your man. You know, because if he's any kind of man, he's looking at these females like, okay, what the fuck you see in them? Why you always hanging with them?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And, you know, sometimes it gets that way, but you want to avoid it, even getting to that point, and get rid of them yourself. Because a lot of time you don't realize until the shit hits the fan what kind of damage it's doing to you, how dirty it's getting your face, and just how much this person is rubbing off on you, and you're internalizing some of their bad habits. And I'll park the Chevy.
Well said. Definitely well said.
I could go in ad nauseum about that. I really honestly could.
Yeah.
But I'm a firm believer in going ahead and giving people their flowers.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to lie. In recent years, I've been at odds for the most part with this publication, because I feel like they've kind of really taken a lot of steps off of the path that I originally found them on. But I got to tip my hat to Psychology Today. I've been a nerd. I've been about that life. I'm not new to this. I know at some point being a nerd became a trendy thing, but I've been about the life. I may have been the only person in high school that I'm aware of that had a magazine subscription. I'm old enough to be at a point now where magazine subscriptions were a thing. Actual paper magazines, to have a subscription to Electronic Gaming Monthly magazine, GQ magazine, and Psychology Today.
Yeah.
So every month I got all 3 of those in my mailbox. So I'm not new to this. I'm true to this.
Okay.
Unfortunately, over the years, Psychology Today has gotten very, very way off into the extreme far left. I mean, a lot of this stuff doesn't really register anymore. But every now and then, broken clock moments is still good for some things. So I do keep my fingers on the pulse of the periodical. And they dropped an article that I thought was very profound, and I still keep it saved in my bookmarks today. And the name of the piece was 3 questions partners should be able to answer about each other.
Okay.
And the first one fits this to a T. So they have 3. I'm only going to go into one. I'm going to read this really quickly. The first question that you should be able to answer about your significant other, and again, this is for men and women. It's not just men about the women, but for both sides.
Yeah.
Who is their best friend and why? Besides you and their family, who is the first person your partner will call with big news, either good or bad? How did they meet this person? And why do they hold such a special place in their life? While it may seem like a basic question, you must never underestimate the role your partner's best friend plays in their lives, as well as in your relationship. It's common knowledge that friendships are an essential contribution to our social and emotional well-being. However, what we often fail to acknowledge is the role they play in romantic relationships. And according to a 2021 study from the Journal of Genetic Psychology, friendships and romantic relationships are not only independently linked to our well-being, they also interact with one another, which shouldn't be hard to visualize. Specifically, researchers, and listen to this part, researchers found that when individuals experience rough patches in their relationships, friendships are their lifeline.
Mm.
On the other hand, when individuals experience challenges with both their partner and their best friend, they're much more likely to experience depressive symptoms. So understanding who your partner turns to when life gets tough or when they're bursting with excitement is similar to having a view of the window into their heart. By knowing and respecting the role their best friend plays, you're acknowledging an integral part of their support system. So in other words, if you and your significant other are on the outs, maybe you messed up or you did something wrong, or maybe it's the other way around, she did something off, and you checked her for it and she's upset about that, and she goes and vents to her best friend because she's on the outs with you. She's not ready to forgive and forget just yet. She's venting to her best friend. When her best friend goes and says, "Girl, fuck that man. He really didn't know it. I don't know why you see what he's saying. You know what? Let's go out tonight. We gonna go to the club. You gonna wear that little pretty black dress. We gonna turn up. We gonna get lit, girl." When she out there and she's getting wasted, her friend is pouring drinks down her throat, getting her messed up, and then starts directing her at every Tom, Dick, and Harry, trying to set her up with somebody else. Now, mind you, this isn't necessarily her character or her nature, but because this is her best friend, this person has direct access to her. So she's more open to what her best friend has to say in this moment. Because again, she's looking for emotional stability. She's looking for a support system. Her support system is saying, when you and your man's at it, because I don't like that nigga no way. Her idea of support is, let's go ahead and get drunk. Let's have a good time. Let's go ahead and get you danced on by a whole bunch of different dudes. He's pretty cute. Go ahead and get his number. Or you know what? If you all want to link up afterwards, go out on ahead, girl. I'll call you in the morning and you tell me all about it. That's what is feeding and pouring into her in times of crisis. Works the other way around too, because I mean we've seen that in some cases when dudes, he and his girl had a knockdown drag out fight, and that perpetually single dude who's always pooing on relationships, he's like, "Girl, man, come on, let's go out here, go and get you some action, man. That's the problem, man. You monogamous, man, because men ain't supposed to be monogamous. We're not designed to be with just one woman. We're supposed to spread our seed around. So we're gonna go ahead and hook it. Okay. All that nonsense, whatever. So in other words, be careful of the people who have access to you because they have direct bearing on your character. They have direct bearing on your state of being, because all of us, it doesn't matter how solid you are, the most solid of us, we go through rough times. And you have friends, you turn to family during your rough times because they're the ones that help you bounce back. They're there for you. They're your support system. But if your support system has faulty values, if their values are not in alignment with yours, then you can very easily find yourself being steered towards avenues that don't match up with your character in times when it matters the most. So when you and your man are good, when you and your lady are good, you might never consider some of the things that they're trying to promote and push to you. They talk foolishness or whatever, but that's just them being them.
Yeah.
But when you down on your ass, when you're really going through it, and you need somebody there to be there with you, and you're very open to suggestion. This nonsense that they were talking in good times is just so-and-so being so-and-so. Now this becomes very real, probable advice. This is an actual legitimate path you can now go down. And that's why, again, like what you said in the beginning of our montage was so powerful. Show me who your 5 closest friends are. I'll show you who you are.
Yeah.
If these are the people that you're closest with, and this is how they think, I can almost guarantee when it hits the fan, when times are tough, that this is what they're going to steer you towards.
Yeah.
They're not going to steer you towards, girl, you know good and damn well that man's right. Why are you doing that? Go home and make up with him. They're not going to tell you that.
Yeah.
Or if it's a situation where, this is really the end, the breaking point, they're not going to say, girl, you need to leave him. You need to love yourself more. You deserve better than that. They're not going to tell you. They're going to say, girl, go cheat on him.
Yeah.
They're not going to say leave. They're not going to say they're not going to say this relationship is the problem. Let's end the relationship. No, let's do something to make the tension already worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the same rules apply. If you got dudes with bad character around you and you need a girl on the outs, these perpetual single dudes, they might push you to go out and get some action just like him. Well, man, you and Alyssa on the outs, man, that's tough, bro. But I'll tell you what, man. I got this date tonight with Angelica, man. She she bad as hell, right? But guess what? She got a homegirl, just be my wingman tonight, man. I mean, no, maybe it's good to go out date another chick, whatever. Then you got the date. Then just like in that other video we saw, where me and her about to get it on, but her friend don't want to be lonely, so maybe you can take one for the team real quick, man. Next thing you know, I had too many drinks. Woke up in the morning, buns clapped. Check your phone, 25 missed calls. Oh shoot.
Yeah. That's how I go.
And that's why it's important. You got to make sure your circle is. I'm not saying that these people can't necessarily be associates. If maybe they're a really fun person, or maybe they're good for business, or maybe they have some other redeeming characteristics. I'm not saying you can't fraternize with these people, but this should not be your inner council.
Yeah.
This should not be the cabinet. You're the president of the United States. You got your cabinet. You got a Secretary of Defense, your Secretary of blase. They should not be on the council, on the board. They should not have direct access to your ear.
Yeah. All facts.
And that's why, brothers, if y'all got dudes that trifling out there, if you got a dude that might step on some toes, you got a dude that ain't faithful to this old lady. He goes home to her, or that's his main one, but he got a whole bunch of other chicks on the roster. And especially if there's no agreement in place where this is okay with his lady, that he's doing this behind her back. Again, that's not a victimless crime. That's a character flaw, my boy. And the days, as sure as the sun rises and sets, the day is going to come when you're going to need this person's advice or their support, and they're going to come and give you what they have.
Yeah.
You can't squeeze blood out of stone. Nobody's ever pressed apples to get lime juice. It's never happened. People can only give you what they have. So if Buddy's default instinct is to cheat, to be unfaithful, if you in a bad situation, he gonna give you what he has. Well, let's just go cheat. I know that. I can't add. I can't read goods, but I can cheat. Let's go cheat, bruh. So be mindful of who you have in your camp. Character is supposed to count. If you got somebody in your camp that has shaky character, you might need to demote them if you don't cut them out your life altogether. I'm just putting that out there. So do with that what you will.
Need a little distance. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Definitely. Let's see. I want to definitely go into our next segment real quick, because I know we're going to be getting out of here shortly, which is our question of the day. And our question of the day comes with a video as well. So our question of the day is, should a DNA test be mandated for every child birth? And the reason why I say that is, here's a video right here. So to give you guys more of a storyline, a guy had a child with a woman, and the child ended up being 6 years old. So 6 years ago, he had a child with this woman, and 6 years later, he found out the child wasn't his. The child ended up having I think the child was invited by the family to a sibling's birthday party. And because this child was already in the home of being part of the siblings, they just invited her to the party. Now, mind you, the father took a DNA test and found out the child wasn't his. So he didn't want to invite the little girl to the party because, he has feelings too. He was hurt. You know what I'm saying? That's a very big betrayal when you're raising a child, you're thinking has your DNA, and come to find out the whole time it was a lie. So he found out about it, told his family about it, and the family still invited the girl and the child to come to the event where he was coming to his family's event. And it became one big thing on social media, and I'll show you guys the video of what I'm talking about.
I swear I did not mean to intentionally do anything to hurt you. I swear to God, I would never do nothing like that. But I care about my niece. I can't just drop her like that. And y'all got she is my family. Like, what do you mean? My daughter, my baby wanted her at the party. That was a kid's party. And y'all turned that shit, y'all turned it off.
So what was your point in not telling me shit was coming? What about that? Why you couldn't be like, hey, bro, you could have told me anything. It didn't even have to go there. That's y'all fault. Y'all did that.
But how was I supposed to know? You know, we was thinking this a kid's party, bro. We didn't think you was gonna turn up like that. We did not know it was gonna be like that. We thought that you was gonna be grown enough to just, you know what I'm just either talk to grown people, you and Tierra go in the other room and let the kids have fun at a kid's party. But now you done got the internet dogging us out. People talking about dog, people talking about me, cause we invited that your daughter, cause she's still your daughter no matter how you feel, that you done raised that girl for 6 years.
I'll talk about y'all too. Look how y'all handled the situation.
Sorry, but
All right, so that's part of the three-way live that they had with the family members. Like you said, his sister had a birthday party for her child, so you know they thinking, you know, the little girl's cousin's coming over, and then the little girl wanted her cousin, that she thought was her cousin, because children don't know what's going on, to come to the birthday party. And I see both sides to it, because the fact that the child wanted that little girl to the party, you know, kids inviting other kids, especially if they're family members, they were like, yeah, you know, I want what's her name to come to my party, make sure she come. And they invited her. But I think that the family was also wrong for basically forcing the child to come over. And when I say forcing, meaning just inviting the child over without giving him pre-warning. I think that was a forced behavior. And I think that was very wrong, because this guy's hurt. This guy's betrayal. So his emotions, just seeing the child, he probably didn't want to see that child at that time where his emotions were still all over the place. You know, so I think they kind of faulted on their behalf, and they apologized, but it felt like it was a backhand apology. Like they were forcing him to say, oh, you should be more mature and a better person than that. You can't control somebody's feelings. This man poured his hard work money into a child he thought was his. And when he found out it wasn't his, you know, it just shattered his whole life. He could have committed suicide, or he could have had domestic violence, or domestic suicide, which is he could have taken her life and his life and left the child behind because of stuff like that. We see it all the time. It's a very dangerous thing. But I think, like you guys say, I think that the DNA should be mandated. I think from now on, you know, women, y'all got to stop saying stupid shit. And I think some of y'all say it because y'all don't want these men to know that you've been out here sliding around, and you want that lie to go to the grave. But you say, oh, you're insecure. I'm only sleeping with you. How dare? That's disrespectful to ask for a DNA. No, I think everybody should present a DNA. Women, y'all should automatically go and get it, so that way you have no questions about if that's his child or not. And fellas, if she's not getting, you go out there and you go and do what you got to do, court orders or whatever, to get that DNA test. Because let me tell you something, it will save a lot of frustration and lives in the process, man.
Wow. I seem to keep hearing more and more stories like this.
Yeah, very common.
It's a very common thing. Yeah, I think absolutely. You know, with today's women, oh hell yeah. Every birth should come with a mandatory DNA test and a retest.
Yeah.
Shit, just to be sure.
Yeah.
Because it's a mandatory do-over. You dig?
Yes.
I'm just saying, bro, like it's bad out here.
It is.
And, you know, it's such a shame that this guy finds this out 6 years later. You know, he could have killed himself. He could have killed himself, her and the kid. You know what I'm saying? People don't think about that kind of stuff.
Correct.
This is dangerous. That's the thing that I want a lot of women to understand. You're taking your life into your hands when you try a dude like that.
Correct.
You're taking your life into your own hands. You know, he ain't gonna do nothing. Yeah, and then he whack your ass. You know what I'm saying? And look, at the end of the day, is it really worth it?
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't understand how, you know, having a little bit of discipline, you know, you having unprotected sex with people.
Yeah.
Every time you do that, you might create a life. It's too much to ask for you to just do that with one person, or at least, you know, don't let that other person overlap into, you know, some of the other people you might be dealing with. You know, just can we at least put some distance between them so you know who you're pregnant from?
Yeah.
Can you at least be an honest hoe? I'm just saying, like, damn, this is ridiculous, you know, and this is what's going on out here. Too many. Oh, Jenny brought up Maury. You know, Maury used to have women on his show all the time. It'd be 30 dudes lined up on the stage, and none of them are the father. That should tell you a lot.
Or and paternity court. Shout out Judge. Who's that? Lynn Toller?
I think it's Lynn Toller. Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out paternity court too.
Yeah. Like, it's not funny. It's not cute. You know, and women keep doing this. You know, and guys keep selecting the type of women that do this. This goes right back to valuing yourself, brothers. There are women who wouldn't dream, they wouldn't think about doing no shit like that.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? And some of y'all call them boring. You know, I've heard guys refer to decent quality women before as boring.
Yeah.
Nigga, what you gonna have when you go marry the Black Chinas of the world? It's not gonna be boring, but boy, let me tell you something. Well, I mean, and Black China has cleaned herself up now. She's Angela now.
Yeah.
But I'm speaking specifically to Black China. You understand what I'm saying? Or even worse, Tokyo Tony. You understand? Like those type of women. You wife them up and see how much excitement you get that you won't. You know, sometimes at some point, fellas, we gotta grow the fuck up. You know, a lot of us are still acting like middle schoolers in our 30s and 40s. You know, talking about a quality woman is boring. Another one, my wife told me this. You know, we always talk about, you know, back in the days of some of our prior relationships, that there were guys that didn't want to talk to her because she wasn't popular.
Yeah.
Y'all some goofy niggas, man. Like, real talk. Like, what? What are you talking about? And so, like, I tell guys all the time, like, don't let the rise of the thoughts discourage you. Let it empower you, because now that you got so many thoughts all over the place, so much garbage, it's easy to find the quality women.
Yeah.
They stand out like a scarlet flag, dude. It's easy to find the quality women now. And we need to be about the business of doing that. And, you know, not wifing up skanks that are going to pull shit like this chick did at this party. You know, got this dude pulling up to a party with a child of supposedly his daughter that ain't his after 6 years. There's no reason, fellas, you know, for even running up in something like that raw. Leave the trash outside. I'll park the Chevy.
Well said.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Fellas, this should go without saying, but the old adage exists for a reason. It is an old adage and not a new adage for a reason. Mama's baby, daddy's maybe. This did not just start becoming a concept 30 days ago.
Yeah.
Not even a decade, not even 50 years ago. This has been a thing.
Yeah.
Pure biology.
Yeah.
Every time a baby has ever been born, the mother who gave birth had 112% certainty that she was the mother.
Yeah.
She knew that the child that she gave birth to passed. There wasn't a question of, am I mother? Did I give birth? No, she remembers. It's a very vivid, very intense milestone in a woman's life. You know, you tend to not forget giving birth to a human being. A whole damn football passing out of an opening yay big. That's kind of going to leave an impression on your mind, body, and soul.
Yeah.
So women have that luxury of absolute certainty when it comes to motherhood.
Yeah.
Men, on the other hand, we don't have that. It is purely 100% a trust-based system. We may be hitting it, maybe in the thing raw and everything, we may shoot the club up, but even then, every person who shot the club up has not conceived.
Yeah.
And then you have some men who they use protection. Maybe she was on birth control. Maybe he's using a condom. Maybe it was both. And somehow you had yourself an immaculate conception where the Mission Impossible Tom Cruise 007 Secret Service sperm was able to escape through the condom, able to defeat all the birth control IUD defense mechanisms to create it's happened.
Yeah.
Odds are low, but it's happened. There's a lot of miracle babies out there who defeated the insurmountable odds and became a full-fledged living, breathing person. It's happened. Most cases, it's not going to be that.
Yeah.
It is a game of trust and hope, and you're believing that the person that you have shared your body with and who has shared their body with you has only been sharing themselves with you, and that this child, this flesh and blood thing that's kicking around, making her stomach bigger, making her sick, that this being inside of her belongs to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in a perfect world, this wouldn't even be an issue. It would be every bit as sure as she is about being the mother of the child that you're the father. In a perfect world.
Yeah.
As a great Brit once said, I'm afraid I've got some bad news. We do not live in a perfect world. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. Men that have bothered to check, or the men that have bothered to do some investigation, do the due diligence, 33% of men, when the DNA test has gone in, it has come back saying, in the loudest, more voice possible,
that's wild.
You are not the father.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's, again, those are the ones that have bothered to go and check. I suspect that although the number, I'm not going to suggest that the number is 90%, I suspect that there's a slight bump on the number that if more men were to go and check, they would find out that more often than not, well, not more often than not, but they would find out significantly that they're not the father. And if a small number of men bothered to go and check and found out they're 33%, I suspect that if every single man were to go out and check, that number might actually increase to as much as 35. And that might not sound like a lot. Worst case scenario, the range that I gave is only a 10% increase. But think about it. If you only have a small, tiny portion of, let's say that only the men who are actually suspicious, maybe she was really sloppy, maybe, he got lucky, he caught her saying the wrong thing or doing the wrong thing, or maybe something just didn't stand all right, he went to go get tested. And because of that, those men represent the 33%. If every single man across the board were to go get tested, and the number jumps to 35 or to 35 or to 40%, that's a huge bump.
Yeah.
Down is actually trending upwards. That's big.
Yeah.
And see, the thing is this, and I know for some men, it's a pride issue. Because no man wants to say that the woman that he's been with is cheating on him. They want to think they're laying it down, that they're handling business, that
even if you are,
the woman would never cheat on them. I know we like to think that. Guy talk. We like to think that we're just that dude. I'm him. So ain't no way second. Put yourself to the side. If you're really a father, if you really care about the optimal well-being of your child, then for that reason alone, it's important that you go get tested. Because this little person that you care about, that you value, that you see as your own, even if they're not your own, God forbid there's a health issue with this child. Maybe the child is born with a heart defect or some kind of condition or what have you. There are some things that can only be treated if you properly know the genealogy of this child.
Yeah.
And if they're running tests, they're running your DNA, running the child's DNA. Well, let's see, is there any example of this in the bloodstream? Let's see, does the father's bloodline have a history of this in the generation before that has it? If they run your blood work, trying to find ways to help this child, trying to figure out what's wrong with this child, and you're not the father, they'll be hitting a brick wall.
Yeah.
This can literally be a matter of life and death. In fact, there have been a lot of cases where paternity has been discovered to not lie with that man because they tried to run a test for that reason, come to find out,
baby.
We tried to find out if there's any history of cancer, if there's any history of insert ailment here in your father's family tree, only to find out that this ain't your actual family tree. Excuse me, man. Pretty awkward conversation. We're here trying to save this child's life, and now we're here dealing with a damn morning mother. We should have a camera right here. This should be on Zeus Network. This should be live streamed to everybody. This is kind of awkward.
Yeah. That's crazy. It happens.
Again, mentioned several times, this is not a victimless crime. It actually goes beyond just the dollar amounts and I'm spending this much money on a child or on a person. Beyond that, this can literally be a life or death issue.
Yeah.
Every single man. This should definitely be mandated at birth. This should be a governmental instituted thing. It should go, and as soon as it is age appropriate to do, or it's appropriate to do, should go and get this child tested for paternity before they sign on the dotted line. It doesn't matter if it's a one-night stand. It doesn't matter if he was engaged in some old sneaky old, geeky old, freaky old Diddy party freak off type nonsense. It don't matter if this is your fiance, your wife. It don't matter if y'all been married for 20 years. And I would go so far as to say that this is not just a standing on business situation right here. If your lady has an issue with this, I've heard some women be so bold as to say, if he goes and gets the paternity test, gets the results, we're broken up. My response to that is this thing on?
Yeah.
Good. Because again, women have the peace of mind of knowing that they are a mother.
Yeah.
Men don't have that. We don't have that.
Very true.
Any woman that is reluctant to give you the same peace of mind that she has, that's suspect.
Yeah.
Because even if she wouldn't do that for herself, that's a problem.
Yeah.
There are a lot of women out here who wouldn't necessarily do some foul, dirty things, but they enjoy the safety net of knowing that if they should ever choose to go that route, that there's a nice little parachute there waiting. There's a lot of women that do that.
Yeah.
They will never do. They'll never go out and cheat necessarily. They'll never go out and and plant a baby on you. They'll never do a lot of foul things. but they secretly cheerlead for the women who go out and do that. Those women are their spirit animal.
Mm-hmm.
They will go out and cheer for female lawlessness or immorality like that. You got to watch out for that.
Yeah. Facts.
Just because she wouldn't do it doesn't mean that her mind isn't geared towards that. And again, this would also be the mind that is raising and rearing your children. So do you want a person who thinks this way raising your daughter? Do you want a daughter being shaped into this image?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want a son being raised to think that this sort of negative femininity is okay? Have to keep that in mind. It's not just about you. It goes beyond you. So you have to think of these things. Go and get that child tested. If she takes issue with that, if there's umbrage, if there's resistance, that might be your red flag. Go ahead and get out of Dodge. The right woman, the functional, healthy woman, even if she's a little hurt by that, she's going to understand. She's not going to withhold that from you because she wants you to be fully invested as a father. She wants you to be fully confident, fully invested in this process the same way that she is. Another point, just to fully sell this, mind you, because you have had some people, and it's not a whole bunch, but you have had some mentally ill people that have gone into NICUs and kidnapped children. They've stolen babies. Either because they want to sell the child for adoption, or they want a child for their own. You've had people that have gone into hospital delivery rooms and stolen babies and try to pretend this is their child. There's not a huge number of that, but the instant that started becoming a thing, they shut down on that, and they have a whole system in place to curb that. They have bracelets that go on the child that match the mother. So for this child to leave, the child's bracelet has to be scanned. So, okay, this is so-and-so's child. Is the person trying to take this child, do they have that same band? No, shut it down. A whole system in place to make sure that maternity doesn't get screwed up or flim-flam. But there's no system in place to make sure that paternity doesn't get done the same. Now, why is that? We have a system to prevent maternity fraud, but we don't have a system in place to prevent paternity fraud. Why could that? Is good for the gander. Fellas, go ahead, get your child tested. If she's got nothing to hide, it's just another day. It's just another one of the numerous tests that they're going to run to make sure that the health and safety of the baby and the mother and everyone else is intact. This is no different. If she takes umbrage with it, that is your sign to get out of Dodge. And if that child does turn out to be yours, you do the best job you can as a father and co-parent with her, and understand that the only reason that you are not an intact family is because her ego got in the way. I'll land my hovercraft.
All right, well said. All right. So getting up out of here, last thing of the night, the crown check. So our crown check for tonight is Nancy Green. Most of you guys know Nancy Green as Aunt Jemima. This is what Nancy Green looked like. The branding of the syrup was a tribute to this woman's gifts and talent. Now, future generations would not even know the beautiful woman existed. What a shame. The world knew her as Aunt Jemima, but her given name was Nancy Green, and she was a true American success story. She was born a slave in 1834, Montgomery County, KY, and became a wealthy superstar in the advertising world as the first living trademark. Green was 56 years old when she was selected as a spokesperson for a new ready mix self-rising pancake flour, made her debut in 1893 at a fair and exposition in Chicago. She demonstrated the pancake mix, served thousands of pancakes, and became an immediate star. She is a great storyteller. Her personality was warm and appealing, and she was showmanship was exceptional. Let's not forget greatness and exceptional Black folks who broke so many barriers. And that's what she looked like. I know a lot of people, you'll see the picture of this lady, and this lady is Anna. It is not Nancy Green. This is Anna Harrington. I think Harrington is her name. I believe her name is Anna Harrington. And that's the lady that they posted as the she's really the model of who they wanted to project those pancake mix for, but this is what the real woman looks like. So just wanted to give that kind of update and factual information for the people out there that didn't know. So that is our crown check for this week.
Shout out to that sister and all the respect. And shout out to y'all for joining us tonight. You know what I'm saying? That's what's up. Very, very pleased with the show we had tonight. It's a very powerful show, and you know, we intend on serving y'all that every week. Just if you haven't already, like and subscribe and share. Get the word out. We want to see y'all back here next week. We want to continue these conversations because they're important to have. You know what I'm saying? They're very, very important to have, and nobody's really talking about this type of shit. People out here, they want to talk about nonsense and bullshit, and you're gonna find the real every time you come here. So shout out Manversations 2020, Bobby Drake, Major Gage, Anthony Malcolm. We are the truth. Like, subscribe, and share. That.
All right, so we out of here. Peace.
Yeah.
Ultra facts.
All right, fam.
Manversations. Man up. Manversations. Man up. Manversations. Man up. Manversations.
A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
Manversations. Man up. Manversations. Man up. Manversations. Man up.
A place where we inform.
Manversations.
A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
You gotta eat what you kill. You gotta go out there, you gotta hunt for your meals.
We all have that ability to connect with people, to be that motivational person in somebody's life.
You gotta let people know there's certain lines you don't cross, and that there's gonna be consequences if you do.
Man up.
If you are an adult and you are in a relationship, that person's emotions are not your responsibility.
Man up. Manversations. Man up. Manversations. Man up. Manversations.
A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
The devil, during slavery, destroyed the masculinity or manhood of the so-called Negro. No man. No man. Right now you got to be trained all over again to be a man.
When someone is obligated to do something, it is binding upon them to do it. And failure to do it causes reaction.
Man up.
Progression make you rich. I don't have that type of richness. My richness is life forever.
If that people knew their glorious past, if that people knew their glorious past, if that people knew their glorious past, then they would be more inclined to respect themselves.
I'm not saying I'm going to rule the world or I'm going to change the world, but I guarantee that I will spark the brain that will change the world. And that's our job, is to spark somebody else watching us.
A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
Manversations. Man up. Manversations. Man up. Manversations. Man up.
A place where we inform.
Manversations.
A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
You want to tell me about yourself? Go get your friends. I'll tell you who you are based on who your friends are.
Don't just live and die. That's an ugly existence. Make your life matter, make your life count. Live a life where people can actually mourn you for the things you left behind, not just because you were around and existed.
We need strong black nuclear family.
Yes. Yes.
That's what it is. Mother, father, son, daughter, all in the same house with a focus on the family unit as a whole.
We had Tulsa, Atlanta, New Jersey, Detroit. We had Rosewood. We had Black Wall Streets all over.
The Republicans aren't for us, but the Democrats aren't for us either. And we should have no alliance to any political party. We only have alliance to what is in our own best interest.
A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
Manifestations. Man up. Manifestations. Man up. Manifestations. Man up.